So,
Can you be a critical speaker, because it sounds that your sound is not very critically loud right now.
oh, okay. Is it better now?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have some couple of questions that I would like to ask because I personally I like to learn, and read about certain things. So I was following your argument with BMB, and you made mention about God.
Brother, can you communicate a little bit coherently and,
Am I audible now?
Yeah, but it's like you think after every word, you're taking your time to say what you have to say.
Oh, okay, sure, okay. So I wanted to find out, right? So if your argument against God that God is immaterial, therefore it doesn't exist, what is your take about nature, right? Because
That's why nature itself is also a concept that describes real processes that can be observed and tested. That's the difference.
But the actual definition for nature in the Merriam-Webster dictionary says otherwise. You can
What?
open Merriam-Webster dictionary.
No, you just tell me. You
Definition
just quoted it. Tell me what it says.
So it says that nature, it confirms what most people believe, that nature is a force, right? And force is the same definition given to what a spirit is.
That's
So
not what the
nature is
dictionary says.
okay, open it right now, Merriam-Webster.
Why don't you
You
open
have
it?
it. Because you are denying it. So if you think I'm lying, you should check it
No,
out.
so you're using it in a poetic sense. You said you had the dictionary open.
It's written in the dictionary. So you
That
can
nature's
open it.
show us then. Just show us. That's it.
My hands are busy. I'm playing console whilst talking.
Okay, I'll pull it up then. Okay,
You're great. So
great.
definition 8A and B.
Whether nature is a force or not, it's still a concept that describes
So if it's
something.
a concept, then it means whatever atheist believes in also is very debatable and nonsensical. That's the case.
No, that is why
We both
ultimately
agree.
it comes down to what can be tested, experimented, and proven
So
empirically.
that's the same. So we can say the same thing for God as well. So there's nothing like God delusion if that's the case.
Say that again.
Then we can also put the same argument for God as well. That means that God can be tested and proven if nature
No,
can also be tested and proven.
how can God be tested and proven? How?
Because God is an unseen force. Just
That's
as
stupid.
nature.
That's stupid. Nature
How
is
is
not
that-
an unseen force.
Okay, read from the definition right now. Merriam-Webster,
But
8A
nature
and B.
nature is not an unseen force. Even if nature was a force, it has to be a sin force for us to even
So-
conclude that is nature.
From your logic, you believe that you are more philosophical and more literate than those who compile the words for the dictionary, isn't it?
No, I am more philosophical and literate than you.
No, but wait. People of wisdom compiled language that you and I came to, inherit and learn to speak.
And I
Now
haven't.
you are criticizing them for
listen,
their intelligence. That's what you're
listen,
trying to say. If they,
I have the-
they said
I have-
nature is a force. Go ahead.
Whether
I'm following.
nature is a force or not, that can only be concluded because it's a sin force. It's an observable force. We can observe
No.
something happening
No.
that we then define as that. But nature is not defined as an unseen force. There's no such thing as an unseen force.
Okay, first of all, is force tangible?
That's why it's a concept in of itself.
So if we both agree it's a concept, then God as an unseen force can also be a concept that can be tested and proven.
A force cannot be a real force if it cannot be seen based on its effect being observed as described.
At this point, you're not being fair. You are just trying.
It's
to
not about being
the truth.
fair. Hold up. Let me ask you a question. Hold up.
Go ahead.
Is Superman an unseen force?
Superman is a character. It's an imaginary character. That's
Hold up. But Superman is a force. It's an unseen force.
From where?
From the DC, from an alternate universe.
Which Bro, I'm done. I'm done. Like,
Do you know why you're done? Do you know why you're done? Because what you
tell
don't
me.
understand is that Superman is as much a character as God is a character in the same fictitious capacity.
You know, I just
Superman,
wanted to say something, but
the
I'll just be
exact
quiet
same
for
way
now.
that we
You
construct the
know,
concept of Superman is the exact same way that we construct the concept of God.
no, now it's all about, it's more like deep hatred now, right? It's not like we are having, an argument to come to a standpoint. Now it feels like it's deep hatred. It's like, oh, now you have a
Bro, I'm
strong
not here to play
hold.
linguistic gymnastics with you, bro. The picture is well painted. If you're having
It
difficulty
isn't.
processing it, that's your problem.
It isn't at all.
I
It
asked you,
isn't.
I asked you, what is Superman? You said Superman is just a character. The same is true for
Yes, of
God.
course.
Why do you define Superman as a character, just a character?
Because it's a character that is being played by an organization.
God is a character that is being played by an organization.
So that is the same. If that's the same case, okay, let's say I agree with that. So therefore, nature is also a character that's being played by an organization. True or false?
No, nature is a character that describes
Uh-huh.
actual, real processes that we can observe.
Same with God.
What process can we observe that it defines God?
What process can we observe that it defines God?
Give me one process
I'm
that we
asking you.
observe that we conclude that, oh, look, that's God. That's God. Give me one
Oh,
process.
you yourself sitting there. It's a
No,
vivid
that's already
example
nature.
that
That's
God
nature. That's
exists.
not God. When we
To
observe
you, it's nature,
ourselves, we
right?
conclude that's nature. No, we know
To
that it's
you,
nature.
so hey, you think you're so smart. That's right. That's what
No, I
became
don't
by
think that I'm so
dedication of
smart. I
nature.
am demonstrating that
Yeah,
I'm
that's
smarter than you.
right. No, you're not.
I guess
So
this
now,
guy has no parents, and I
All
guess
right.
your parents didn't,
Much
do the
faith.
dance.
Much faith. Much faith. Thank you for your time, okay? You don't really have that much faith after all. Thank you for your time.
He just is his microphone is bad, and he's just slow. It's just not really worth the time.
My dear religious brothers and sisters, come up and try your best. Okay? We're going to activate your brains by force because I don't understand why you guys can't just be honest thinkers. Why can you not just be an honest thinker? Why are you trying so hard to make the impossible possible? Why are you trying so hard to take something fictional and make it real? If we're just honest, we would never disagree. If we were all just honest, we don't have to make our assumptions and run based on our assumptions. It's simple as that. Just be an honest person. All right,
Why
next
did
guess.
he keep pretending that just because it's a force, it's like imaginary by definition? Like gravity is a force, yet we can measure that. Like, where's the God that we're measuring as a force? I looked it up on the dictionary, and it doesn't even say any of that, to be honest.
Hello.
What's going on, Clint Eastwood?
What's going on? So what about the when you were talking about the existing? So can God exist before he made existing is what you're talking about, right?
The answer is no, but I was just going based on what that guy's assumptions were.
I think
Because
sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead.
What I was gonna say is I think the general concept is that God can create everything that he is not within, right? So by definition, he is like what he was saying is like he's immaterial and he's like timeless. He's all of these things, and that's the things that live within, which is what existing is. So like us who are, which you could say we are like to exist is like to be, right? So God is, when I guess we say timeless, is that he never had a beginning, and that's what sets him apart from us. Is that, yeah, basically.
You
I
want
feel
to know? Do you want to know what else is timeless and immaterial?
Go ahead.
Things that don't exist. Things that don't exist all have the same properties as your God that you keep defining. Timeless and immaterial.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't define your God literally using the properties of something which doesn't exist and expect us to conclude that it does exist. You should define God in using the properties of what qualifies existence rather than what disqualifies existence. In order for something to exist, it must be somewhere, in some way, shape, or form at some point in time. So you must be within the bounds of space, time, and matter, right? There's different types of matter, as we've been learning. There's different forms of materialism. Materialism at its very core is talking about the form that things take within reality, what constitutes them, right? It can be at the atomic level or at the galactic level or the cosmic level, whatever it is. But it needs to be somewhere at some point in time, in some way, shape, or form. If it can be found nowhere, in no form, at no point in time, that's the definition of something that doesn't exist.
Well,
The worst
that
thing you can do is say that your God is outside of time. If your God is outside of time, your God cannot even go from being himself to creating. That implies time. That
well for
means your God can't even think. Thinking also implies time. There has to be a distance between the event of thoughts. From thought one to thought B, there's a measurable amount of time. And time by nature is infinite. No matter how you could attempting to conceptualize a beginning to time is ridiculous. Because whatever would trigger that beginning in itself would require time. Right? It's like you saying that, hey, I use water to make ice cream, but
well,
water didn't exist before I made ice cream with water.
I
It's kind of
also
weird.
think that that's like the clear difference is that if there is a God that's able to do all of these things, that is as powerful as he's supposed to be, then creating time and creating everything that we live in now wouldn't be illogical.
No, that would be very illogical because that means that God has the power to not exist. Does your God
Well,
have the power to make himself non-existent?
no.
Then guess what? Your God cannot be outside space and time.
Well, I feel like that's also like a fallacy to something can't.
It's a fallacy to imagine that there is a being that powerful.
I don't think so. I think
No, that's
I
precisely what it is because we don't observe that kind of power in existence. We observe duality. We don't observe any form, any power, any force, anything that is singularly absolute, that is undefiable. We observe balance, and even within chaos, we observe competing forces. Nothing, there is no power that is unstoppable, right? It's like me asking you this question. If you can answer this question, then your God exists, okay? What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object?
nothing happens.
That means the
I think the main blurred lines that I feel like non-believers and believers have is getting to the idea that there could be something that powerful, or if it would make sense if something was that powerful.
no,
But
listen, that's the problem. If there is something that powerful, we're no longer talking about creation.
hmm
Listen, let me tell you something. The more powerful something is in existence, especially when we talk about forces and the forces of nature and things within nature, the less intelligent it needs to be, right? Like if it's just in terms of power, like the power of water, there's no intelligence involved there. It's just
well,
within its very natural constitution. The power of
yes,
fire,
but
there's no intelligence there.
I think when people say powerful is like the ability to do. So like the
Right,
ability to,
right. Right,
yes,
think about it.
so
Yeah, hold up. The ability to do something. Now, what distinguishes the ability of something like a human being and something like fire is intentionality. Whatever ability water has to do whatever it does is not a product of an intentional decision made by water. It's a natural byproduct of its very constitution and nature, right? So water does nothing with any specific goal in end at the end of it. Now, the same thing is it cannot be said about human beings. We do a lot based on intentionality. And the idea of God is conceptualized from that perspective, not from the perspective of water. Because if you now conceptualize God as something which doesn't necessarily do anything intentionally, but just due to its constitution can bring things into existence, then that's not really God. That's what we've already defined in science as energy, which can neither be created nor destroyed, but can be transformed from one state to another, you know? And you would then notice that whatever is the source and the most powerful thing in the universe will be something which is neither dead nor alive, which neither is intelligent, but constitutionally has the ability to change forms. And everything that we observe is a form of that thing, which we already understand as energy. So you can completely eliminate all gods out of here. So what we are looking for is not going to be some being that decided, okay, I'm going to create. No, it's something which by nature, by its very nature, triggers or causes different forms to emerge from its very essence without intentionality, without consequence, right? It's almost like the absolute free will. Like it has no specific biases towards what happens at the end. And then whatever happens doesn't necessarily have any true effect upon its being. We already know that. That's why science has allowed us to make so much progress. That's where human beings got the audacity from. When we all saw the world from the perspective that is propagated by religious institutions, there's always this fear that you're defining God, you're defining God. But when you realize that God is not even something that thinks, God is not something that gives a fuck. God is just a substance that we can do with it what we want. So within the massive chaos of the universe, in some way, shape, or form, this natural thing, within it, intelligence emerged. Intelligence emerged. Life also emerged. Because this thing is not biased to life or non-life. It's neither alive nor dead in of itself. It's not something that can be said to be alive. It's not something that can be said to be dead. It's very neutral. It's not a he, it's not a she. It doesn't demand worship.
Well, I would disagree because, in my own personal observation, is that we were created by something that could be personal because of what we exhibit as human beings.
No, that's your insecurity. That's your insecurity. You need that to be that in order for you to feel safe. Because
let me finish. Let me finish. I know you're gonna go off, but what I was gonna say is that we are given like the ability to like what you're doing right now is like using your rationality and your logic to think things through, and you have your own curiosity, and you also have your own ability to love something and to nurture something.